What's going on, everyone? So, obviously, the Los Angeles Lakers could really use a trade, right? Jeremy Grant, Bruce Brown, Wendell Carter Jr., Cam Johnson, all these guys have been linked to the Lakers and many, many more, right? And the Lakers do. Their best interest is to pull off some type of trade. Do they have a puncher's chance? Of course. You have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. You get the right matchups, right? Guys kind of elevate, pick things up, finally maybe show up in the playoffs. All of a sudden, you could be in the conference finals. Things kind of go your way. Boom, you're in the NBA finals. You never know, right? It's not something I would bet on, but I do still think the Lakers will probably be in that 4 to 6 range this season. You got a new head coach, right? It is in your best interest to kind of take your time and evaluate. Again, lots of rumors about Lakers trades. Probably will continue to be rumors about Lakers trades, right? But you look at just all the options and the asking prices right now. None of these trades make sense. And look, I understand people, there's no excuse, there's not this, there's not that. Which player, and I pass this to you, please, answer down in the comments. Which player is worth giving up 2 firsts for? That's available. I'm not talking about Steph, I'm talking about one of the players that have reportedly been available. Is Jeremy Grant worth 2 firsts? I don't believe so. Is Cam Johnson worth 2 firsts? I don't believe so. That's the asking price for those 2 guys. Is Bruce Brown, who's on an expiring contract and overpaid, is he worth 2 firsts? Right? The only guy that isn't worth multiple firsts, or at least a first, for a guy that isn't worth the first, is Zach LaVine. But it's his injury history and his contract is a concern. All these guys that are available are all available for a reason. And guess what? All these same guys were available at the trade deadline last season, and not one of them were traded. Again, I would love to have Jeremy Grant, but I've always said we need Jeremy Grant and. Can we get a Jeremy Grant and a Bruce Brown? I know Bruce Brown just had surgery, so maybe not so much Bruce Brown anymore, but you get my point, right? Like him and a Wendell Carter, or him and a Walker Kessler, or Cam Johnson and maybe Jeremy Grant, right? Like, you need multiple pieces if the Lakers really want to get to contention. And so it may be in their best interest to be patient, take their time, see what develops, see what unfolds in the trade market, and what could potentially make more sense. And as asking prices start to drop and come down, maybe now you can pull off a multi-trade deal, right? But beyond the obvious, like, hey, all these teams want insane amounts for these guys, there is also, you have a new head coach in JJ Redick, right? You have a roster full of guys that have a lot of similarities, have a lot of redundancies, but it would probably be in your best interest to kind of hash out which guys make more sense, or which guys are just fitting to JJ Redick more, which guys, are playing the role better, right? What do we really need, right? Does Rui evolve into a better defensive wing? And is he able to really rebound better the way that JJ Redick believes he'll be able to rebound, right? Is Jared Vanderbilt not able to stay healthy? And it's kind of like we should probably trade him instead of a Gabe Vincent or something like that, because we may need Gabe Vincent as that point of attack guard, right? Like, and maybe we're adding Jared Vanderbilt to a Jeremy Grant trade instead of a Gabe Vincent, right? Like, there's a lot of questions. D'Angelo Russell, right? If you're trading D'Lo, is there another guard on the market that we're able to bring in that makes sense? Also, what are we trading for D'Angelo Russell? Austin Reeves, right? JJ Redick truly believes that he can turn Austin Reeves into a more consistent player, right? Can Austin Reeves kind of elevate more? Or was what he was last year just really who he is, right? Is he not able to replicate what he was, 2 seasons ago when he had his emergence, right? A lot of talk that, hey, it was just tired legs, which, okay, I'll buy that, right? Like, I get it. I know people don't like excuse stuff, but it's a reality, right? He went from basically being a guy at the end of the bench that got occasional burn and run to LeBron getting hurt, him getting an opportunity, and going from like 10 minutes a game to playing the most minutes on the roster the rest of the regular season and the playoffs. The guy was averaging like 36 minutes a game, 37 minutes a game, sometimes more. Sometimes he's playing nearly the entire game, right? So to go from basically barely playing and just kind of playing in spots to now you're playing every minute of every game and then going on a deep playoff run, being a key piece, being a key component in that playoff run, then going directly into FIBA and playing in the Olympics, and again, being a huge factor, being a huge component, regularly getting heavy minutes, playing more than most of the stars like Brandon Ingram and stuff like that, and then going right into training camp, going right into preseason, and then playing all 82 games of the regular season, right? So, again, I will give him the benefit of the doubt, right? But it would be good to see, can Austin Reeves become more consistent, right? Like last year, he had his moments where he looked like the Reeves from the year prior, but it was the lack of consistency, right? He had games, he just wasn't very consistent, and that was a problem. Can JJ Redick kind of get that out of him, right? Like, again, Rui, can he kind of take another step? Can he kind of be the guy that JJ Redick envisions, right? Max Christie, what do we get from Max Christie, right? What do we get from Dalton Connect? That could be huge, right? Because let's say Dalton Connect really is what we want him to be. What if he really is that legit 3-level scorer? He's serviceable, at least on the defensive side, right? Like, what if it's like, hey, Rui becomes much more expendable, right? Or maybe one of these other guys become much more expendable, right? Or maybe Max Christie isn't holding up the way we want him to. And it's like, man, we could just slide Connect to the backup 2, right? And he'd be big for a 2. He's 6'7" in size, right? So we get some size at the 2, and then we could have Rui and Jared Vanderbilt. Maybe we package D'Lo and Max Christie and see what we can get. That give us, with a vet minimum guy, get you $30 million in tradable salary, right? Like Max Christie. What if Max Christie does become a legit 3-and-D guy? What if he does become KCP-esque? I'm not saying he's going to be as good. KCP's, all defensive, right? 42% three-point shooter, stuff like that. But look, Max Christie was 40% on catch-and-shoot threes. We've seen him clamp up Damian Lillard and Devin Booker and guys like that. What if Max Christie really does kind of be that guy for the Lakers next season? What if he is playing real minutes and he's giving you quality production? What if he's giving you, 12, 4, and 4 off the bench? And it's like, man, it might make sense to start him, right? Austin Reeves. Right? Last year, I didn't like him as a playmaker. He just wasn't able to do it. He can make plays because a lot of people look at his assist totals and they go, what do you mean he's not a playmaker? Difference between a guy that can make plays and a playmaker, right? There's a lot of guys in this league that can go get you 5 assists, right? Getting 5 assists is, yes, it's not an easy feat, but it's not like super rare, right? It's not like, oh my God, like, man, he's averaging 5 assists. No, I mean, there's 100 guys in the league that average 5 assists, right? So, again, there's a difference between a guy that can make a play. Austin Reeves, the pick and roll with him and Anthony Davis was like one of the best plays in basketball, right? He can do the basics. He can be the swing man, right? He can kind of create, drive and kick, right? He can, keep the ball pushing, find the occasional cutter. He can do the basics, but running an offense, being a true playmaker, creating things, putting guys in spots and vision, seeing things develop, right? Seeing the entire court. Austin Reeves constantly misses guys, cutting or doing this or doing that. We saw him get an entire unit by himself and the Lakers couldn't score. Like, it was terrible, right? Like, so I didn't like Austin Reeves' struggle with ball pressure. That's another big thing. I didn't like Austin Reeves last year playing that role. But what if this year he actually has evolved better into a playmaker? What if he does handle ball pressure better? What if he does start seeing things a little better? I'm not saying he's going to be a leader or anything like that, but what if he's good enough to where, with JJ Redick's 5-out offense that he wants to run and different variations of that, what if Austin Reeves is capable of just being your initiator? Because the idea is you don't have a guy just out there wheeling and dealing and it's just, D'Lo ball dominant. I do want to see D'Lo play point guard. Let D'Lo play the point guard, but it's not supposed to be just like, hey, D'Lo's just making all the plays and he's going to get 15 assists a game. No, or LeBron's just dominating the basketball and he's making all the plays and he's getting 15 assists a game. No, it's supposed to be guy initiates, then the offense starts flowing, right? Guys are in different areas, different locations, all these different actions that are breaking down, and then guys, the primary playmakers, LeBron, D'Lo, Reeves, guys like that, they're making the reads. Even Anthony Davis out of the post at times is making the reads that you need to kind of have this free-flowing offense, right? So maybe Austin Reeves is capable of doing that, right? Maybe Austin Reeves is able to actually be that. So now it's like, okay, well, we can trade D'Lo and we could trade Gabe Vincent, right? And we can move Max Christie to the 2. And Max Christie and Austin Reeves can be our 1 and 2. And we go get a Jeremy Grant. We go get a Wendell Carter Jr., right? Or no, maybe, what if Koloko is really good for the Lakers? And it's like, man, we got to free up a roster spot. Forget another center. This guy's given us, in limited minutes, is giving us 8 and 8, right? Like, imagine what he could do in a backup role, right? And he's given us a blocker. There's so many variables. There's so many unknowns. Look, none of that could happen, right? All of those guys, everybody could just be trash, right? Like, we don't know. Like, I'm not saying like that, but they're like, wouldn't you want to find out before you just like sell the farm to go get a Jeremy Grant? And like, yeah, maybe you're slightly better, but now you're stuck and you have no assets to do anything else, and now you're overpaying for all these guys. I just don't think that that's the best course. Again, I want to trade. I was hopeful that the asking prices would start dropping as we move closer to training camp. That Portland, even Portland insiders are like, what is Portland doing? The Lakers are willing to give you a first. Like, you should be just thankful that the Lakers are willing to take on his contract, right? Why does Portland even want anything, right? Like, these are Portland people. These are people that report regularly on Portland that are saying that. Same thing with like Cam Johnson, all these guys. And so many people talk about injury history, right? Zach LaVine, injury. Well, Jeremy Grant doesn't have a great injury history. Cam Johnson, like the most games he's played in his career is like 66 in a season, right? Bruce Brown is coming off of surgery, right? Wendell Carter Jr. has had an injury history, right? None of these guys are super healthy. So again, it's just like you're taking a gamble no matter what, right? So you're almost better off just being patient, letting see what unfolds, and then take it from there. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think, yes, it's in the Lakers' best interest to wait, be patient, got a new head coach, see what he can do with this roster? What if the roster is really good? Right? What if the Lakers are a top 3 team? Right? Like, we don't know. They have the offensive firepower. It's just defensively, can they work it out? There's a lot of questions. Don't get me wrong. A ton of questions, ton of concerns about this roster. Without a doubt. Right? No question about it. But kind of give JJ Redick an opportunity to see what he can do. Kind of get a feel, him and his coaching staff, and then make the right decision accordingly. As you move closer to trade deadline, all these prices are going to drop. Again, maybe Koloko and Jackson Hayes kind of take a step, and it's like, we don't really need why are we going to waste our assets to go get a center when we got these 2 guys that are killing it? Maybe they're playing like a Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively type thing, and it's like, man, let's focus our assets on this, or maybe another guy becomes available that makes more sense. Again, how do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, I love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.